Only an 11 grand gearbox, it's grand. Cheap money.
My hair's beautiful.
Big moment.
Every time you say that something goes wrong, stop saying that.
It's never going to work. It's all a disaster. What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Game Changers. We're continuing on from the last episode, which Blaine had to run off and edit, and we're still moving at this pace. So we're where we were. We have got the full drivetrain now, in theory, for the Corvette. We've got a super pumped and motivated Wayne Kern who's just excited. He said to me earlier today, he could not contain himself last night. He had to take a sleeping tablet. He was that excited about putting the drivetrain in. Ryan is over there looking at a list of stuff that he has to do, and the list is getting smaller, which is good. So today we're going to do some jobs on getting the drivetrain in. The drivetrain is in by the end of this video. We are getting very, very close to having this car finished. Me and Josh are going to work on the rear boot lid needs to be painted, the roof needs to be painted. We also have to paint this subframe just briefly before we get it in the car. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And then hopefully everything bolts up and we have a mechanically working car by the end of this episode. So wish us luck. Anything? Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
That's not gonna happen.
Wade, full of enthusiasm, as I said, never doubts it. Come on, Wade, we've had so many setbacks now. Surely it's got to work at this point.
Should.
It should. Should is a massive. That's better than not a hope, which is what we.
We'll get it done.
Oh wow. Okay, stop talking shit.
I've been told. Let's get on with it.
How confident are you about this?
Oh, sure, you know.
A little bit. Only the first time we had about.
Only an 11 grand gearbox, it's grand. Cheap money.
Just bolt in, yeah?
Just bolt in, yeah. After you drill a little bit.
This is a big moment, Dave. This could be the last you see of the torque tube.
I'd never see another torque tube again. And I never will, because it'll be underneath me, and I hopefully never will. I'd be very happy for a long time. So this is our torque tube version 3. And it's actually working right. It's the right one.
Yep, it's going together grand now.
The gearbox and the diff are as one, which is really bizarre. You've never seen this before. I don't think like having a gearbox bolted to a diff.
We've seen lots of pictures.
We've seen pictures. Now the pictures are in very high res. They're real. High def, 4K, 8K even. So yeah, the next thing is we're putting on the release bearing for the clutch. Clutch is in, Josh. Did I show you this?
There it is.
That is the very, very heavy and updated.
I mean, if you go through that clutch, you're doing something very
rated
wrong.
for like I think it is rated for 1100 horsepower. So I would assume that, and now again, remember that's going into a torque tube that's uprated from a Z06 with uprated couplings, and then into this area which has nothing here. But then this will be the gearbox and the diff. The diff then will go to the shafts. Then we can put the suspension back together, and then that should be it.
You can really tell you've been talking about this for a long time because you actually confidently know what's going well.
I do. We're at a point now where we're coming across small problems, but not big problems, like bolts and tightening stuff and all that kind of crap.
I say let's keep it that way.
Let's keep it that way. Cool. I've got another courier ring me now, more than likely, so I'm going to get more packages. So those BMW stuff over there. We'll give you a sneak peek of that in a minute.
Is that really the correct thing to be using?
No.
Listen, we're dealing with we're under tight thing.
This was an expensive piece, this was.
Is this essentially locking out the reverse gear?
It just means that you can go. No, it's not locking out the reverse gear, it means you can actually get into reverse.
Without pressing the extra button?
That is the most looking yoke ever, lad. Get that off the car and just put the throttle cable on. I am actually not leaving that. That's not
What's this? An 11 grand
Take that
gearbox?
rubbish off. Where's the spare?
You don't have one? Well then I'll tell you what I do, I'll take the plastic off this and it'll look perfect.
I want it in properly. Oh, here.
Wow. You want it done, don't you?
Electrical connector.
You can have that. Oh, that'll look better then.
Huh? Who's looking at? That's a bit better now, a bit better.
Don't let go of my secrets.
Your secrets? I don't think anyone would want them.
Well, have you want better? No. We're not allowed to spend any more money.
I taught you loads of my
This
secrets.
shows you how much the budget is down. You lift that.
Go in.
Big moment.
It's not quite the big moment.
Every time you say that, something goes wrong. Stop saying that.
It's never going to work. It's all a disaster.
You come in time just to lift it like.
Oh dear.
I mean, you're like,
In time just to lift it.
he's dead knocking in the gym like and everything. So he's lifting on it.
Oh, here we are.
It's not in him. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you can twist that. Thanks.
Man.
Back a little more way. Yeah. You're not far away there, Reiners.
Say something clever for the camera to make it look like you're really helping.
Lift
Josh,
right. You're gonna
lift that side.
Lift that side.
Lifting this side.
Yeah, yeah. Any chance of getting a 5mm push from the back? It is now.
Look at your hair.
Nothing wrong with my hair.
It's dangling down.
My hair's beautiful.
This is the
We're getting there now.
first time that it's had a drivetrain. The right drivetrain.
Yeah, we're just rear shafts away from like a car. Like actually a car.
It's still got the tag on it.
That new. It's that new. Alright guys, so very productive day. And for the first time ever, look at this. We have an engine. We have a front subway. We have a clutch. We have a torque tube. We have a shifter mount. We have a rear bell housing. We have a Samsonas sequential gearbox mated to a Winters. Into the subframe, which as you can see has been very heavily modified, and it's in the car, Josh. Like, what a moment. We've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 full days until the dyno. There's still a ton of little stuff to do.
The
like,
moment's passed when it's like, it's achievable.
it's achievable now. We've got a lot of tidying up, a lot of fitting of stuff. We've got to lacquer the dash. We got to put in the seats, the
Little
harnesses,
bits, though.
bits and bobs, the link ECU display. We've got the reservoirs in for the clutch. We've got to do the windows and the door handles, and we've got to do the brake lights and the bonnet and a few other bits and
Stop
pieces.
going now, you're making it seem like a lot.
There's a lot, but it's, you know, we'll get through it step by step over the next couple of days, and that's hopefully by the time we get to next week, we'll be starting this car, and it pretty much will be finished bar, I think, the graphics from Precision Tinted Graphics. So I think this car may go to the dyno with no graphics on, then we'll do the graphics. Your car has the graphics on, but then it'll go to the dyno. So it's
I've
all,
actually noticed like both our cars have been so backwards. Yours got wired without the rest of the car. Mine got wrapped before it's running, and
Yeah,
yours
like
going to be dynoed before it's wrapped.
it's funny because if you think about it, my drivetrain going in at the same time as your car is already wrapped sounds like they're both a million miles away from each
Not
other.
at all.
But they're just going in that way because of the way the parts came and the delays. So pretty awesome. So now that we've got this in, there's nothing more I can do to it, and Wayne will jump back on this and Ryan in the
You
morning.
actually did quite a bit today. You
Yeah.
you helped put it in.
I helped put in this. Oh, Jesus, if I had to hammer this torque tube in, it was getting into the bane of my existence.
That's when you know it's getting desperate.
Yeah. So now I've got a few parcels for the BMW, so I'm going to show you those guys as well. Just as a little bonus to guys. So we made a
A bit
decision.
of a tease.
Yeah, we made a decision on the BMW. One of the most exciting parts of this project is getting these drift cars back on four wheels and running, and those four wheels are very special because they're these Strom DS25s. These are a very, very cool design. You can get them in a bronze or in this hyper black. They've got really, really aggressive concave, and they're perfect for drift cars because they've got a nice strong edge to the wheel. So if you hit another person on the track, they ain't gonna shatter like most wheel companies will. They're reasonably priced as well, so if you wanna get a drift package together of multiple rears, very, very affordable. They look awesome. We put them on loads of cars, and we can't wait to have our MX-5 and Corvette sitting on them very, very soon. So check out the full range of Strom wheels and get yourself something tasty for your car. So yeah, we've decided to change from the Pandem kit, and a lot of people love this car as the Pandem kit, and I did too, but I wanted to look a little bit more sort of motorsport, aggressive, wide arch M3. That's kind of what I was. So we've already shown you guys that we're going to do the 1552 wheels in gloss white, put mega stance and slam it over them, probably tuck and rim, which would be really, really cool. Like, it'll be absolutely on the floor. And then we've got felony form fenders. These are like half fenders. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. So we're obviously repainting this whole wing, so it doesn't matter if
It's kind of still the standard lines of the car. It's just kind of a bit more aggressive. It's not going to have those wheels on.
It's not going to have these wheels on, obviously, and it's not going to fit because of these wheels, but you'll get an idea. These wheels are way too big for this car, so they're not going to work perfectly, but I'm just giving an idea. That's all it needs at the moment. It's just an idea to kind of see what we're doing with it. Yeah, it's not going to fit these wheels.
This could be an absolute disaster.
So as you can see, we can't run those wheels, and we were originally planning to, but now you can see the problem straight away. Now just remember,
that's the problem.
Yeah, so just look at the rear arches and see what they look like, but I want to tape them keeping the paint on this. So I don't want to damage it. I learned this from Rick. From Rick and Rick.
You've learned something.
Yeah, I learned that if you're going to test fit it, just make sure you cover it because you don't want to wreck the paint. So that is what I'm doing.
We are all slowly learning through this process of doing some
We're
cars.
learning a bit, Josh, do you know that?
We're picking up little tricks here and there.
And do you know what? It's been fun because you get to watch really talented people do it, and then you do it like about 50% of what they're doing when you try and do it yourself, but still. So, you know, that's kind of where we're going with it. We're still, like, even like those wheels are quite wide, so.
I was gonna say actually, that's almost. I don't know, actually, no. It's not far off.
Not far.
So it is just like kind of like a fatter standard.
Yeah, it's what I want it to look like is the same color because the color's wild, but take a little bit of a tone down on the body kit from the Pandem. So it'll look like a wide arched M3 in a weird color with rally wheels. That's on air suspension. That's kind of what we're going for. A big front lip, grills on the bonnet. Similar to Adam LZ's car actually has those grills on the bonnet. The GTR grills, they're really nice. So
He's got a similar kit to this actually. Or is it the same kit?
felony form kit. I don't know if he's running the felony form, but I like Adam LZ's car. I think it looks very purposeful. I think the Pandem to me was just a bit too showy, but I love the color, and the car itself is actually clean and everything underneath. I have the air suspension, I have the coilovers, all that stuff. So yeah, next couple of weeks we'll get this car prepped up, then it'll go to paint, and then it'll come back looking unbelievable. So that's the plan, and every day we're getting more parts for it. So once all the parts are here, then we'll send it off to paint. All right, so guys, drivetrain into the Corvette, parts arriving for the BMW. That's all we can really. We're gonna mess around, me and Josh, with a few more bits tonight and try and get some work done. We'll see you guys in the morning for more progress on all of these cars.
Okay, so welcome to day 2, and today we're not supposed to be speaking to Ryan.
Ryan's doing work, so we're being very quiet.
We say this in quite a lot of videos that we're not to distract Ryan, and we end up distracting him, but this time we're not going to distract him.
No, he's not to today, so he's doing the exhaust of the car now, as you guys can see. We're hoping to get the back end of the car done, so we can do your painting the inside of the boot lid, the fiberglass part. We're going to bond that to the carbon, and then we're going to put the whole back end together. So if Wayne comes back later, puts all the suspension in, along with the shafts, along with the hubs. We'll have the calipers painted, everything else. We can literally say the back end of the car by the end of today is finished, done. We won't need to open it.
Done.
Your car is outside, but we're not showing that yet. It's in the trailer.
Say it's in the trailer outside, but
We're going to work on that in a little bit of secret to finish it off. So yeah, crack on with it. Let's see as much as we get done today.
a shocking thing has happened, Dave. Another delivery has come for you.
I don't even know what this is.
That's when you know you've ordered a lot.
It's either a front or a back bumper for E36. So what I'm trying to do is, as the stuff comes in for the BMW, put it on the car just loosely so that I know I have all the bits by the end of all the orders coming in. That's the plan. It's not a great plan, but
A solid plan.
got a call from Paulius today in TH Components. He'll have the stuff ready next week, the wheels, the diffuser and the cage. So we've got the front wings now and the front over
Pretty
fenders
much
and the rear
solid
over
on the
fenders.
car now.
Oh, they're just beautifully fitting there. And so we have the grills for the bonnet. So I have the back bumper. So now we're only waiting on the side skirts. I'm not going to tell you what I did. I bought something very cool, but I'm not going to tell you what
For
it
this?
is. Yeah, something very cool
Oh dear.
that you wouldn't think about. But I bought something very cool.
Is this a BMW bumper or is this like a third party one?
It's a third-party bumper replicating the
Made in
original.
plastic though.
Yeah. So the normal bumper wouldn't have this on it. This is already molded in, the spats. Sort of spats or lower bumper. So this means that because it's the same bumper as what we had, and then there was 7. You get the gist.
And that's it.
It's fine.
We got the picture there.
We got the picture.
Just leave it there. So this is now. You can tell Wayne's back in the garage anyways.
Yep.
I apologise in advance.
What did you do?
There's a centre point.
That's your center point.
Well, I was drilling from the other side and I didn't realise there was a centre point, but there's a solution. We're going to put one evenly on the other side. So
That's not bad.
So it's at least symmetrical.
And you learned about it down here, I see.
No, that was actually a complete fluke. That just was.
Yeah.
That was completely centre.
Well, it's not like Matthew spent a lot of time making sure the weave went to a center point on the car or anything.
We were holding it the other way, so well, you were holding it as well.
Anyway, we'll move on from it.
We'll move
I
on.
think if you put one either side, it is fine. Yeah. So that needs a bit of.
At least it's symmetrical.
Bit of sealing. Bit of sealing, and it's done.
Yes.
Cool. We're now moving on to rear suspension with a little segment we like to call Wayne putting the suspension in for the 748th time.
Yeah. So this is the chunky ass shaft. No.
That'll get us demonetized. So bigger wheel bearings, bigger shafts, and this is the secondary one for the handbrake from Drift HQ in the US. Big shout out to them.
That's just the bracket that goes onto the additional hub, isn't it?
Yeah, and they provided us with a Willwood here as well and pads. So this is all brand new. So we've got FDF Race Shop top arms. Basically, all the adjustment can be from the top arms. You can do camber, caster, and all that stuff from one arm. You don't need to do the bottom arm. Although FDF Race Shop said they will send me they haven't made them yet, but they are going to make bottom arms as well. But they'll be fine for the moment. We've got the new shafts in, which are basically apparently unbreakable, Wayne.
You'll break them anyway.
Excuse me now, I've never broken a half shaft in a drift car.
You didn't have the power in a drift car to break one.
That's a very good point. So basically these are from Drive Shaft Shop in America.
That is a tongue twister.
It is. And I'm getting better at it every day. And then these are rated for over 1,000 horsepower and over 1,000 Newton meters torque, so I can't see us having too many
So you're
issues.
running half that, so
We're
sure.
half that should be fine. We're overkilling it, I know, and that goes into the winters, and we have pretty much everything on the BC Racing coilovers, as you guys can see, and we adjust them. It's not very handy that they have the adjustment here on these, but it's on the bottom and the front one. It's very clever. Basically, all we're waiting on then to finish this up is the other side, and if I'm right in saying, Wayne, the brake lines. Pretty much a couple of fittings for the brake lines, and then we're going to put in some Mobil 1 brake fluid, and that should be the brakes done. Everything else in here, bar a little bit of button up. We have some wires, as you can see here, and these are for lights and for the rear strip of the brake light, which we'll have to put on top of the carbon boot lid. But we're probably about half a day away from the back end of the car being finished. Don't laugh, Wayne.
He's laughing.
Yeah.
Wayne is more like a fish in an aquarium. He doesn't want to be involved. He just wants to do the work and get it done. And Ryan has been working on the exhaust. He's been exhausted all day.
Wow.
That's,
Yeah. How's that been going, Ryan? Look at this, a bit of work art here, isn't it? Not very pretty.
I was gonna say, it's very pleasing on the eyes.
All the little colours.
The tunnel's so narrow that there's no way we can do an X. So we're just doing
So
it
like,
down there.
yeah.
That's very tasty.
Hang on a second, hold it. You can see right through.
Cheers, Ryan, you have a future in this.
Yeah, do you reckon?
I reckon. Not bad for your first one.
Explain why there is a slit in there to join the two in
to
the simplest way possible.
Okay, so in an exhaust you have back pressure, but in a V8 you have two heads, so you have two banks. So to regulate the back pressure, you have to join the two together.
Basically, yeah. It's basically to regulate from both sides of the engine the same exhaust pressure going
Because
back.
they don't
Exactly,
meet
yeah.
ever
They don't
until
meet at
until
all
this
at that
bit.
point.
That's the first
Yes.
meet down there.
Yeah, and because they fire differently, then one exhaust on its own would be doing something different than the other exhaust, whereas this regulates the two of them together. Is that kind of the idea? No. Anyway, the most important thing is that we've got an exhaust. We're nearly there.
Here at Drift Games, we absolutely love online drifting. But more importantly, for you guys watching at home, we want to get you in the game as well. So we've partnered up with digitalmotorsports.com, Ireland's first online sim store, who are experts in everything when it comes to online drifting. And they're going to give you guys a full free sim rig at the end of this series. Now, I know you want to know, how do you win? But it's quite simple. Every single episode of Games Changers, we're going to release a letter. It looks a bit like this. And that letter will form a sentence. And at the end of the series, the first person who can put that full sentence together correctly wins a full simulator. Now that's not bad going.
All right, guys, what a week. Massive, massive effort. From especially Ryan. Well done, Ryan. What a week. Like, that's a big step in 1 week. Finished your car, got that to wrapping. It is wrapped and outside in the trailer. This was a shell, and now we have the drivetrain in.
It has all the equipment
In the
to
next,
make it move.
we won't have it on camera because we're working through the weekend and we're all over the place, but Wayne will get the back end suspension and all that stuff buttoned up over the weekend. Ryan, that leaves you with the exhaust free to do when the back end's in.
There's a few more bits to do on Josh's car before mapping, so I'll probably do that Monday morning.
Where we are right now is
Fuel lines, brake lines, connect up the wiring that we disconnected, fill it with oil, I'll do all the levels.
base map, startup.
Base map, startup.
And whatever time we have left, finish off all the aesthetic stuff. But basically, we've got 3 days next week to finish the car. Josh's car will be on the dyno while this is the last few bits are being done, and then this goes to the dyno the next day. And then the day after this goes to the dyno, your car is revealed. That is a heavy week.
No pressure.
No. And then, like, in a week's time, we'll have these cars finished, revealed, and we'll be going to testing. That's the plan. Good Lord, have they fought us all the way on that plan. But right now I'm feeling more confident because the main mechanical components are in the car. Massive push from all the partners we've had on this car to get us the right parts in time. Massive push, especially from Ryan, who's been unbelievable the whole way through the project, and I can say it to his face because I mean it. Massive push from Wayne as well to get us. So Wayne and Ryan have pretty much, put these two cars together without any external help. Or Bob doing all the wiring. Tremendous amount, and you've never built two cars before.
This is actually an interesting fact.
No, and two cars you've never worked on before in your life. Exactly.
They're not even like you'll do a bit on this one and a bit on this
So
one.
I think.
Hang on a second. So Ryan worked out how many days he spent doing the two cars since
I
he
started-
came back after the fabrication
So
stage.
when they came back from paint, and we had to actually send your car off again.
Yeah.
I was here St. Patrick's Day, so
Yeah, 17th
28 days up till last Friday.
So you built two cars from scratch in 28 days with Wayne's help.
That's not bad.
That's incredible.
It's not bad going. Considering we didn't have half the parts, we're in the middle of a lockdown. it's all
And
right,
we
like.
probably lost a week on this because of parts. Definitely lost a lot of time on parts on this. I'd say we made
Well, the
about-
back end went in about 3 times.
and the engine's been in and out about 3 times. So I would say we definitely lost 2 weeks on this just on stupid stuff. But that's building the car, folks. So what I've learned from this project is, we've learned a lot, we'll talk about this when we reveal the cars, but one thing I've learned more than everybody concentrates on the money. It's all about money. Everyone talks about how much does it cost, how much is this, how much is that. The money is irrelevant. The figuring out is not accounted for in that. The time and energy isn't accounted for in that. The delays, the setbacks, the ups and downs, the trying to stay motivated, the getting motivated, the backstepping, all that stuff. You think, if you go into a dealer and you've €100,000 to buy a car, you drive in, they give you the car, and you drive home, and it's just 100 grand. With this, it's retail probably over 100 grand. But it's not as simple as that. Everything you've got to work for, even if you're spending the money, you still have to put in all the figuring out, the work, the delays, the setback, the hardships, on top of the money. So that's the bit I never really thought of. I thought you just budget it out and say, that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that. When you get down to mirrors and fittings and little small pieces, and that piece you bought that should work, but this all does now to be fair, but everything in there that doesn't work, or why you have to cut that, or why that line can't go there, or why you have to change that, you cannot budget for any of that.
I think one thing as an example is actually the diff when it came had no bolts. Yeah. And then even getting the bolts took a day.
All the bolts were all Imperial, so they're all American thread size bolts. And we spent 60 quid just on bolts.
60 quid in a day?
Just on the diff bolts. Now how are you going to budget that back in November, that I need 60 quid for diff bolts? You're never going to do that. So it costs way more than you think. The hardship, even if you have the money, which we had with the loan we got, that's not even been a talking point for a long time. You go over budget, you go over time. And no matter how good or bad I think you are at building it, or not building it, whatever, you'll never have just a straightforward day where everything just goes absolutely perfectly. It's impossible. So for 28 days, Ryan, from essentially 2 shells to 2 cars that are about to go to the dyno next week, that is a hell of a push. And me and Josh have been running around and getting parts, which we don't even know what to do. We now know more about these 2 cars, which I think is a really good thing. I was saying this to Josh last night. We built these cars with you guys. We know every component that's in this car. So it does help in your mental state to bond with the car when you know every single thing from start to finish. From the minute this came in with its ceramic coating and its plastic on the steering wheel from its valet, all the way to a race car. Like, I know every single part of this so well.
It's also a good thing as a driver as well, because now you've seen every aspect go into the car. So if you feel something loose in the car, you know, oh, that could be that bolt because that holds that, and that's where it feels like
or
that
if you
noise
need to get a
coming
spare
from.
part, I know what all the parts are, so I know if something breaks, I know exactly what that is. I've never known that before in a car. I know more about torque tubes. I can tell you the chassis, I can tell you the codes off by heart in my sleep going, no, that's an automatic one, that's a 6.2 one. But I know too much. But the most important thing is that we learned all this on the journey, and I hope everybody watching at home has learned a bit as well, because you guys have been with us, because we never said at the start of this, we're professional fabricators, we're professional race drivers. We had no idea what we were doing, we just took a chance, and we're a week away, hopefully, from that chance paying off, maybe. I'm really jinxing it now.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers, everything crossed. But an amazing effort from everybody who's been involved in the cars, from the talented people that make the stuff to the talented people that worked on it. Like, it's been actually a joy to watch, hasn't it, Josh? People like making things from scratch and making something exist that didn't, like a couple of
I think it's the whole thing. If you buy a car, you just take it for what it is.
Just take it for granted on the grid. There's a car, it's drifting.
Yeah, you actually appreciate all of everything that went into it. You know the time that went into that, and it makes you appreciate.
I'll never look at a drift car the same way again.
No.
And I was 10 years watching drifting. You're probably roughly the same.
You never appreciated a car.
Build. No, and now I appreciate that.
The small stuff.
The small stuff is just ridiculous. Like, that's the long. Even the fact that you'll make an exhaust so tidy that probably no one will ever see under that car again. But you'll make it perfect, and every drift car probably has the same thing. But you never even appreciate
You
the
teardrop
time.
my wastegate pipe. That's under the car.
You gotta love him. You gotta love him. Anyway, guys, enough talking. Let's get back to work over the weekend. Wayne's gonna button stuff up. We're back next week. 3 days left to get this on the dyno. Yeah, let's hope we can get it done. Josh's car, about half a day to get it to the dyno, and we've got a lot more aesthetic stuff to do, but we're on the last stages, so there's a bit of enthusiasm now to get them done. And next week's gonna be a very hectic week, so make sure you don't miss any of the episodes. Make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you so much for everybody who's watching. We hit 70,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to everybody who's been along for the journey, but the journey's about to get a lot more exciting from here on in. So we'll see you on the next episode where we get these things buttoned up and ready for the dyno.